Uppy, uppy, uppy. It's One Funny Morning. I'm Dana Blizzard, and it's too early in the morning. This is the dumbest show in the whole world.
From Monday
to Friday. Sometimes on Saturdays.
Why would you say that in front of all these people?
Dean stinks.
You never know what's gonna happen.
That's your Dateline voice?
I don't know.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't.
It's not a chicken leg. This is a chicken leg.
Look at that manhole cover on my face.
Not a bad rendition of me. Hold on.
It's such a small town. So if you're walking, people just be like, "Do you want to ride?" It's like they don't need Uber. They just have.
What?
They just pull over. They give you a honk, and they're like, "We know your brother. We'll give you a ride to school or whatever."
That's called
our small
murder
town.
in New Jersey.
What's outside your Puerto de Clima?
That's Stella! Yeah!
Good morning. Live from Barnegat Light, New Jersey. There's old Barney. And who else do we have?
Hi, it's Sharon and Mary, and we met here on the island to get a little lunch. Now we're enjoying a walk, lovely view of the lighthouse, great view of the bay, and we just want to welcome all our friends to Uppy 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 this morning with your host, Dina Blizzard.
Good morning. Good morning. What a beautiful view down the shore. That was Cookie Spice, obviously Sharon Wagner and Mary Coe. Good morning. Lisa Rodriguez. Good morning. Dean, all made up, never gets old. You're not wrong, Carrie. You're not wrong. What a way to start that. You know what? The only thing that's missing is just Kyle going, and we take our brows up. That's the only way it could be better. I'm not going to lie. So good morning. Brooke Blizzard is up. And she about to go get some breakfast sandwiches. She is the official breakfast sandwich getter of OneFunnyMother, and we couldn't live without her. So just a reminder, it's Tuesday, to my knowledge, unless you all tell me something different. Diana is on the mend. She partied too hard during her 77th birthday weekend. So send some prayers out to Diana so she gets better very quickly. Apparently, when old people party hard, they have to sleep for like a week. So that's where we are with Diana. So yeah, I'll tell her, Tanya. So it is a beautiful morning here. I don't know how many people turned the air conditioners on. I know Canada didn't, but Brooke literally just keeps looking at me going, "Are you going to turn the air conditioner on?" I'm like, "No, I'm holding out. I'm trying. Maybe the Lord wants us to be sweaty and gross." Mm-hmm. Tina Naomi, it's so funny because the other day, I say happy One Funny morning. Hi, Scott. Thank you. I'll take it. And it said like one funky morning. And I was like, well, there's a way to start the day. Sometimes they're not all funny. Sometimes they're just funky. Yeah. I don't know, Missy. I don't know what I'm holding out for. I'm still trying to pay off my gas bill from the fall. Did you know what I'm talking about? Did you ever get your gas bill for, like, we have like gas appliances, gas heat, and like it'll be like a reasonable gas bill and then completely unreasonable. And then I wonder if we could have been colder. Anybody? I don't know. It is fan weather. Colby's still alive. Thank God. Look at my face. Okay. Some days on, some days off. Yeah. I guess that's probably a good idea, but I'm rocking it. All the windows, look at them. All windows are open. I'm like, no, I have a crosswind. You don't know how many times I've said crosswind in the last few days. A lot. We were in the car. Dean wanted to put the air conditioner on yesterday. And I was like, dude, roll down the windows. Cross breeze. He was like, please stop saying cross breeze. I was like, cross breeze is a word poor people use when they don't want to turn their air conditioner on. Everybody knows that. When we were younger, all Diana talked about was the cross breeze. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people can't do it because of our allergies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway. It said Abby, Abby, Abby instead of Uppy, Uppy, Uppy. You're like, who's Abby? I don't know. Anyway, so it is a beautiful Tuesday and beautiful weather. Hopefully everybody's feeling like it's starting to get nice out. Beautiful spring happening, planting flowers. I'm all about it. And then heat this morning. Whole house fan on last night and then heat this morning. It was cold this morning. I had my ceiling fans on yesterday. It was so nice. I know. 85 degrees is my turning point. I did, Renee. I got the Lexus NX. Was what I ended up going with. So, good morning from New Mexico. Joe is here. Robin, I don't think I told Chris she's got to check them out. I'm going to start taking this apart so we can get ready for the next one. Anyway, so yesterday, you probably, at least the supporters knew that Diana was sick and she was not going to be attending Walla last night, which left plenty of time for all of you to go and watch our new favorite movie, Unsung Heroes. It's in the movies right now. And we talked about it briefly yesterday, but I'm super excited because today's guest is not only a friend of mine, but he is an Emmy Award nominated producer. Let me read his bio because it's so good. Gerald Webb has produced 35 plus films, cast 100 plus films, portrayed roles in over 150 films and television series like Barry, which was amazing, LA's Finest, Bull, Criminal Minds, Beyond Borders, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Agent Carter, 911, and many more. In 2002, he was asked to executive produce 3 films for Candy Rock and Red Rock Entertainment. 2 of the films, A Christmas Present and Christmas on Candy Cane Lane, were acquired by the Great American Food Network. The third film, which is Unsung, was released nationwide by Lionsgate Pictures. Productions of those projects went so well, Candy Rock Entertainment named Gerald their head of production in early 2023. And he's my friend, and you're going to love him to death. So all of you act normal. His name is Gerald Webb. Come on in, Gerald. So Gerald and I basically grew up together in our little towns, and we were talking about how, well, I wouldn't ride my bike to Gerald's, but apparently Gerald would ride his bike to my house, which we now believe is approximately 4 or 5 miles.
Yeah, I mean, I used to ride my bike what I felt like to California. Like we would ride all day.
All day. And I was saying that we would be, because we would ride everywhere, but like our parents never cared.
As long as we were home by the time the street lights.
Yeah, they were just like, you got to be home.
I was in Kensington, Philadelphia on my bike from South Jersey,
which is nowhere near. But it was so funny. So we grew up in this tiny little town, lots of friends in common. And then Gerald took off to LA years ago to pursue his acting dreams. So tell everybody, take us on this journey. How does one end up? And then tell everybody who you work for. Put the pieces together.
Okay, so I was here working a job. I was working in the pharmaceutical industry, and I was really bored. It just was not for me. And I also owned a little DJ company, and I was doing my little performances, and it was kind of my way of placating not having gone to LA to be an actor. I was like, oh, but I'm performing, doing the electric slide. So I finally just said, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, all right, I'm moving. And I moved and got there and was like, oh, I'm ready to go. And nobody cared.
And they were like, we're good.
No one cared at all.
Just like LA.
And I was like, struggled and ate ramen and, did the whole, starving artist thing. And slowly started to kind of make my way up and booking some TV. And then a director friend of mine said that I had been in a couple of films. Like, hey, I'm directing a movie for this company, but I need some help finding the cast. I don't really see eye to eye with their taste. Can you sit in? And I was like, yeah, sure. But if I get an audition, man, I'm out. So I sat in, and by the time we were finished casting that movie, they said, hey, can you cast our next movie that starts in a month? And I was a really weird moment for me because I almost said no because I was scared it was going to get in the way of my career. And I finally said, well, if it becomes a problem, I'll deal with it later. Okay. And I said yes. And it actually changed my entire career, starting work behind the camera. So I worked for them. That company was called The Asylum and became the head of the director of talent there. So I oversaw. I thought you were going to say
director of cats. And I was like, what? That's very rare.
Well, hurdling actors sometimes is kind of like herding cats. It's a little similar in the skill set.
I'm not sure why I went there.
but yes, I started, working behind the scenes, and that kind of changed everything, and ended up through that company casting the first 3 Sharknado films. And yeah, crazy Sharknado.
Do you remember Sharknado?
Yeah.
His name is not Ian, it's Ian Ziering.
Ziering.
And
Tara
they were
Reid.
just and the sharks used to in a tornado.
In a tornado.
It was classic. First there was frankly,
Blob.
my dear, I don't give a damn. There's Gone with the Wind, and then there's Sharknado.
Sharknado.
And that's what Gerald
And my
worked on.
contribution was part of Sharknado's.
There you go. Continue.
Yeah, so I, worked for that company, and then started my own little company. And the whole time I'm still acting, doing my little bookings, playing a cop on pretty much most of the shows.
Yes, that's where I saw you on Barry.
Exactly. And then I started my own production company with a partner, and we made a bunch of films and kind of bounced around. And then pandemic came, and that company kind of had to go away.
We bounced out.
And I was like, well, what do I want to do? I can always act. And a buddy of mine who owns a company said, hey, I want to work with you. I've been wanting to work with you for 15 years. We're going to figure it out. And I said, great. Let me know when you're ready. And then one day he called me. He's like, hey, we have 3 films. We want you to come in. We want you to make sure that they get produced properly, and that, everything goes well. And I was like, great, I'm right in the middle of moving. Give me like 2 weeks. And he's like, well, one of the films starts in 3 weeks. So I said, I literally moved my stuff in the storage the next day and got on a plane 2 days later, and went to work on a film. And the company's called Candy Rock Entertainment, and it's owned by a gentleman named Jeffrey Brooks and Ford Engelert. And their partner and our CEO is Candace Cameron Bure. And I was fortunate all of a sudden, from having met her once in like a 5-minute Zoom call, and then once again in like a 5-minute in-person meeting, all of a sudden I was in Oklahoma with her for over a month, and then Louisville, Kentucky with her for a bunch of weeks after that, working on Unsung Hero. And we got to know each other pretty quick. And I got to learn that she's successful for a reason. Her work ethic is amazing. And
that's awesome.
She, definitely talented. You guys have seen that. So now I kind of make sure our pictures kind of get done on some level, which really just means I sit on a computer and sit on a phone and sit on set all day.
So Katie said, I'm late. Who's our guest? This is my friend Gerald. He is also one of the executive producers of the newest movie, Unsung Heroes, which is just out by Lionsgate, Candy Rock, and who's the other one?
Kingdom Story.
Oh, Kingdom Story.
Yep.
And so
the band for King and Country is it's their family story, the Small Bone family.
So talk us through this. So that was kind of the background. So now Gerald, who did we have on? We had Jen Lilly on a couple months ago.
I was just with her like 2 weeks ago.
From the Christmas movie that you had done. So Gerald had reached out and was like, hey, I think you had one of the stars of the movie I'm working on your show. And I was like, that's random. We haven't talked to each other forever. And I was like, oh, look how our things coming together. Mm-hmm. So how did Candace Cameron feel about her wig in Unsung Heroes? That's the whole thing.
Oh no, it's actually, her role was based on a real person. So the wig was based on what that person looked like. And that person was on our set. So we all got to meet her, and she was super kind, and like just how she's portrayed in the movie, just the nicest person. We met her and her daughters. I just saw them a couple weeks ago at our premiere in Nashville. So
crazy.
It's funny. Some people aren't recognizing Candace. No. I've had people go, oh, I didn't realize that was her.
Oh, you can realize it with that wig on. Gerald, are you married?
I'm not.
And now step back, ladies. Okay, take it easy. Take some breaths this morning. I told you, what did that take? 7 minutes? All right. So tell us the story of Unsung Heroes. Like, I tried to explain it, but what is your
hero? There's no
one.
ass,
I wasn't sure if there was
another. The truth of it is there are many in the film.
That's what I was saying.
There's one that they focus on.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Unpack it.
So the band for King and Country is a Christian contemporary band that consists of 2 of the Small Bone brothers, Joel and Luke. And Luke came up with the idea of telling their family story. And an Unsung Hero is truly a real story based on their family. Their father was a music promoter in Australia in the 80s and was pretty successful. I mean, like really successful. And then brought Amy Grant over to do a big tour, and the economy in Australia just tanked, and he lost everything in a matter of months, to the point where their house was foreclosed on. And because he took such a big hit, his reputation was damaged. He couldn't find a job. Nobody would hire him. They were all scared he would fail again. So his only choice was to come to the United States for an offer to start a record label with an artist. And when he got here, calamity hit again. And I don't want to give too much away, but calamity hit again. And basically
calamity hits the whole time.
Yeah.
Almost every 5 minutes. And you're like, oh, Shakendra, how about in a hospital? And then all of a sudden the scene goes down. You're like, you could have heard a pin drop because you're like, I don't like the way this is going.
But it was so reflective of family, of life. Because it was just one hit after another. But it was really about this family staying together. It's really about this family fighting through all the odds. And, in the end, you've heard of the band for King and Country. So, there's been some success in the family. I don't want to tell you all the details, but it really was about them, relying on themselves, relying on each other, persevering and having faith, not only in their family, but in God. And, that saw them through, and, neighbors that helped out, and the church that helped out. And it really is an inspiring story that inspires you through a lot of tears.
And what's amazing, as you said, is that when, because we went to, Gerald had a screening at 1:00. I was running around. So we went to the second show and saw Gerald, but he was saying like, when you watch this movie, there is a hero for everyone. It's a very mom, I think, is what as a mom, I feel like in general, we all do feel like we're that glue, but to watch it unfold in this movie. But there are so many heroes. The neighbors were heroes. That wig was a hero. I mean, that whole, the church was a hero, and the kids were heroes, and the neighbors. And so.
And in a weird way, the father was a hero, even though he had some issues. He really did humble himself and do whatever he needed to do for his family.
Yeah.
So what I like about it is it really is, I think the movie is a love letter to mothers and to families in general.
Yeah.
But I also look at it and I go, everybody from kids to men, women, across races, across religious lines can relate to multiple people in the film.
Yeah, for sure. And there was almost like a Von Trapp family feel to it. Did you ever think that? Because there's a family of 7 kids, so a family of 9. I don't know. It just seemed like that's a lot of people to manage. Yeah.
I can barely manage myself and my dog.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Any clue when it will be released to the Netflix?
I don't know.
It just came out, right? This past weekend.
It's in theaters now. If you want to see it, please go to the theaters and support us. We weren't expected to, but we jumped up and we're second in the box office this week. It was a big win for us. So go see it while it's in the theaters. I think it's worth seeing in the theaters.
It is. And you were saying that like lots of church groups are going together. It's definitely one of those movies that you can go with the group. You're all going to be crying. But it's a great story. It's great for kids. There's just so many wonderful themes for the kids that are watching. And Shakendra and I, so Shakendra went to see the movie yesterday.
Oh, thank
and
you.
she had said that she says, and how about the girl at the beginning of the movies? The flight attendant is the daughter. Yeah. And I said, well, the girl that hands the baby is the baby.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cameos.
She's like, I gotta go back and watch it. I said, the guy at the soundboard with the little kid is the guy in real life.
Yeah, well, one of the big parts of the story is so many members of this family are still working together and they're still having success together, decades later, which is really amazing. So they all kind of did their little cameos throughout the movie that if you don't really pay attention or don't know, you won't know until we kind of tell you at the end. Like we kind of lightly show you where they were. But yeah.
Becca said, should I wrestle my teens to the theater? Yes.
Yes. I think the idea is they should wrestle you to the theater as a gift for Mother's Day. So I really believe this film is a love letter to mothers. Like take your mother, take your whole family. It's a great Mother's Day trip.
You're going to cry.
Yes, take tissues. Take a box full.
I love the movie. I was surprised how good his acting was. So is that Luke or Joel? Which one is that?
That was Dad. That was Joel.
That's Joel.
So Joel actually also co-directed with Richie Ramsey. Richie also did American Underdog, which was the Kurt Warner story, which was semi-faith-based. He's an incredible director, but he and Joel co-directed, and they both, of course, Joel and Luke both were producers on the film, and were really instrumental in making it happen and trusting all of us to help make this amazing story for their family come true.
Yeah. Well, it was so funny. It was in the weirdest way possible. Dean gave your movie a very nice compliment, but in the weirdest way possible. So I had said to him, I said, Grandma wants to go see this movie for her birthday, so we're all going to go. And he was like, what's the movie? And I was like, it's called Unsung Heroes. He's like, what is it? I said, it's a movie. Gerald produced it. Grandma wants to see it. It's a faith-based movie. And him and Jacqueline rolled their eyes. They were like, okay. And I was like, no, it's supposed to be a really good movie.
We'll do our chores. We'll go to the movies with Mom and
Grandma. And he said that him and Jacqueline sat next to each other with full intention to be like, oh, here we go. Here comes Jesus. And he said halfway through, they're trying to make fun. They're like, this is so good. Like just hysterical crying.
It's funny. There is a weird stigmatism sometimes to faith-based movies where people feel like they're less than quality-wise or otherwise, or sometimes they feel they're being lectured. And I think one of the great things that, our team was able to accomplish, especially, our directors, Luke and Richie, was to really find that balance of having the faith be a really integral part of the story, but without kind of making anyone feel like it was being lectured or forced or, heavy-handed. It really, this is a story about a family that happens to be faithful, and you see that through who their actions and who they are.
Yeah. It was so good.
Well,
and so of this family of 7, there for King and Country is who the 2 boys are, and then Rebecca St. James is another one.
So the daughter, she became this big, star of the Christian contemporary music in the 90s, and that was kind of what part of the catalyst for the family to start moving towards success. And then later on, the 2 younger brothers, boom, now they're this big, they're doing stadium level, tours now.
Wow,
full production, confetti, smoke. I mean, their production is amazing.
Wow. So Jim Wagner said Cabrini is another great movie. I want to see that. Did you hear about that one?
I did. I have not seen it yet, but I produced 13 films in Buffalo, New York, and they filmed Cabrini in Buffalo, New York. So I know all of the crew, like half of the crew that worked on that movie. I know them, and I know they're so proud of it. And I've been finishing this movie and promoting, so I have no time to watch TV right now. Or see
that's
movies.
So nice. Yeah, there have been some really great ones. I know Cabrini, but there's a theater over in Lancaster. Do you know what I'm talking about? A Sight and Sound. Have you heard of it? I don't know. So it's in Lancaster, and I know because my mom with the church ladies, they go on the trips.
Got it.
And so it's called the Sight and Sound Theater. There's one in Lancaster, and there's one in Nebraska, maybe. Okay. And they just produce live shows that are all from the Bible.
Nice.
So they'll do like Noah, but they have like all the animals there because it's nice. In Lancaster, so it's like in the middle.
So they go out back.
So they're just like bring them in.
And like they don't have to go anywhere. They just open the door.
They do, and then just camels and stuff just start coming in. And so anyway, so she will always go. So during the pandemic, the Sight and Sound Theater for the first time ever, it's in Branson. That's it.
Missouri.
Yeah. Okay. For the first time ever, they simulcast it because you could see people in the theater and they were all like 5 or 6 chairs apart. But if we were sitting and I've never been, I just saw from the simulcast. If we were in the audience, there's a full stage here and it wraps around. So it almost does a full complete.
Nice.
There's nothing behind you, but there's just animals everywhere. There was a giant ark. There was like a temple. There was a thing of it. It was crazy.
And they just kind of move from set to set.
They do, but you start to see. They did one. What was I want to say Olive, but that wasn't her name. It's a biblical. I
Olive?
No, it wasn't Olive. There's a Popeye. Toot. It was another good. Diane might be watching. She might know, but it was a great. But I guess what I'm saying is, when we were younger, the only like Christian like story, like I don't know your parents ever dragged you, but we would put on the Stations of the Cross at Easter.
Oh.
Gerald and we had Esther, Ruth. I think they did both of them, and they did Jonah. All
Nice.
good. I hope there weren't camels. I might have reaching when I said camel, but whatever. Okay.
I'm sure there were 2 kids at least dressed up.
There
as
was
a camel.
Dean was probably dressed up as a camel. He was the backhand. Stop it. So
They're chasing the camels away.
they're waiting. Our sandwiches are here. Brooke Blizzard does a good job. So I guess what I'm saying is I do feel like they're elevating these movies overall, and it sounds like you guys are kind of at the forefront of that.
Well,
Nice.
we live in a different time where production value wise, you can do really great things for not tons of money. So there used to be a time when it would take $50 million to make these kind of movies, and now it doesn't. So,
what is this? Oh, that was nice. That's lovely. All right, check that. See if that's yours.
This one feels small.
That one's mine. Yeah. That's all you got. You didn't get one.
you're not eating?
Oh.
Oh, you got one. Okay, great. It looks fine.
Oh, look at that.
Look, I got a guest here too.
Oh yeah, she won't leave her side.
Do they make bagels in different sizes now?
Well, this is a gluten-free one, so it's not real.
Okay, got it. It's not real. You just
It's
go like this and eat like this, and
Mhm.
somehow you feel full.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
All right, we're gonna take a bite.
Yes.
You guys eat a bite, Mm-hmm. I love Fireproof with Candace brother Kirk.
Oh,
Did you see that one? I didn't.
I have not. I'll have to put it on my list to stream off of PureFlix. Jane, I am from New Jersey. I was born in Philadelphia and grew up in South Jersey.
Right by me.
And I have not worked with the Kendrick brothers.
The who brothers?
The Kendrick brothers.
No, we did not, Renee.
Is that Candace Havens, the writer? I don't know if it is. I kind of know her a little bit.
She's like me. Facing the Giants. Yeah, these are all must be really good movies I haven't seen. Because I'm watching Sister Wives. Do you watch Sister Wives?
I don't. I have no time to watch TV.
Gerald, you're missing.
I watch a phone screen and a computer screen right now.
What do you do for fun? Sleep.
Right now, I don't get to have any. I'm going to go on vacation soon, though. I have to figure out where I want to go in like late May or early June. So I'm going to go somewhere out of nowhere.
All right. Does anybody have any ideas on where Gerald should go for his vacation? Wait, there's a show called Seeking Brother Husband. Gerald, would you ever be a brother husband?
No.
Do you know what a brother husband is?
I'm assuming that it's a relationship with a woman and multiple male husbands.
Boom.
So I'm kind of like a one-on-one kind of guy.
Kind of guy. Somebody said you should go to Deadwood, South Dakota.
Take my 6-shooter and
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Fiji. What's the coolest place you've ever been?
Coolest? I'm a huge Maui, Hawaii fan. My heart is actually broken for the fire and the aftermath of that behind completely being burned down. So I would probably say there because I just have such a love for Maui.
Now, one of the ladies just said, Carrie said, I definitely don't want another husband. So, because that's like a lot of husbands. But would you, there's a couple of questions. Number one, we were talking about the people who pose nude for art classes. Would you ever do that?
Nope.
Gerald, I want you to think back when you moved to LA and you were eating ramen.
Nope.
And they're paying $400 a pop for a half an hour for you to just sit there.
Not my thing. Just not my thing. I come from a time when and people can do whatever they want. But I come from a time when taking your clothes off was kind of a negative thing. Like in any kind of a public setting.
I'm surprised
Now,
most men will say,
taking
look,
your clothes
Missy
off.
did it. Carrie, I
I
lowered it.
listen, if it works for you, it works for you. It just didn't work for me.
So you're starving. Not a dime in your pocket.
Yeah, I was there. I did it. Like I was starving.
Did anybody ever ask you to pose for the new class?
No. I think they were probably like in Hollywood. I think what they do is they don't come out and say, "Hey, I'm a creep. Can you do this for me?" But what they'll do is they'll say something to kind of test you to see if you're like, "Hey, that sounds interesting." And then if you do that, it's then you're in. It's like a lot of there are certain cults out there that they will leave you alone as long as you never ask about their cult. But the minute you go, "Hey, what's that about?" It's over.
You're in.
Yeah. So I think.
Did you see a lot of that out there?
Because
that one is out there.
Yeah, well, yeah. I actually worked for that one on some video stuff early on in my career. It was kind of funny. They would do all these public service announcements, and they were about like good topics, like, oh, be kind to people, and you'd be paid to go be in a regular like commercial about being kind to people. Yeah.
So you're in commercials for.
Well, no, they're not like they're like in-house commercials.
Okay.
And I won't say the group's name, but for a group that people have heard of.
We know.
Has a couple famous members, or 10,000.
What's like the creepiest LA story you have? Like anybody like you were like, oh, I know what's happening here.
I think being from Philly, I give off the "you don't want to be creepy with me" vibe. So it didn't really happen to me much. But I'm sure a lot of my friends went through it.
I was going to say, did you hear any stories? I imagine it happens more to girls, right?
I think it probably happens more to girls, but it happens to everybody. I mean, there's a power dynamic sometimes where people are just trying to test to see what they can get away with, and they don't care who it's with. So it's a little tricky. And there's just a weird dynamic. I always feel like I have to try and maintain and have integrity in an industry that has very little integrity. So it's always like the balance of sometimes you're working with people and you realize there's no integrity, and then you have to figure out how to maintain integrity and get the project done or get through it with your integrity. So it's a little tricky.
Somebody just said, tell us about Bill Hader when you worked on Barry. Did you work with him at all?
Yeah, I did. He directed the episode that I was in. He was great. I mean, when I worked with him, he was so busy because he was the lead of the show. He was the head writer and he was the director. And I worked on it. I was in episode 4. So it was early on. And at the beginning of a TV show, everything is like, after they're on 4 or 5 years, it's like, these things are easy. We got this figured out. When it's the beginning, everybody's there. There's a million opinions. Everything's on the line because they don't know if it's going to have success. Once you have some success, it's a little easier. So he was just, we did ride on the little van to set together, and we were laughing about this little game where you could, like, it was a filter. It was early on in the Instagram filter days.
Okay.
And it was remember the filter that would turn you into the dog with the flappy ears and the tongue would kick out? There was an Instagram filter, and he had that on his phone, and he was like, "Look, I'm a dog." And we were like laughing about that. So.
The show we're talking about is called Barry.
Yeah, it won like every
So
Emmy
good.
for like 4 years.
I didn't like the end of Barry. Yeah, I don't think I did either.
It was actually HBO.
Was it HBO? It was good. Yeah, no. It was a good movie. And I mean, it's a good show, but it's hard to explain. Did you watch Baby Reindeer? I'm going to think no, based on what you've already said. Oh, you should watch that.
Baby Reindeer? Okay.
It's a lot.
I'm going to have to go back through and do a list of all the things I need to watch.
Baby Reindeer is out now. And when you watch it, I'll say this, and when you watch the casting, so in broad strokes, it's a story of this man who was trying to break into the industry as a comedian, but then he picks up a stalker. So it's kind of an opposite stalker story because it's normally the fella, but it's a girl.
Okay.
And the actress that plays the girl does a phenomenal job, super creepy. But she specifically said that she wanted to play this role because she saw so many nuances to this character, this woman who's a real woman. This is all a true story. And didn't want her to become a villain. Like there's so many layers, like why people become stalkers. Like, did you ever watch the show Catfish?
No.
I was obsessed. But Catfish, people go on and pretend to be other people. Half the time it's not them. But when you met them, right, they would string people along for a year and a half, 2 years. And then you meet them and you want to villainize them. But when you meet them, you feel sad for them. That there's something wrong. Yeah. And this girl that plays the stalker is such an extraordinary actress. And there were times that you're just like, she should be in jail immediately. And other times we're just like, this girl needs a hug. Like I feel like it had a lot of undertones about mental health and all of that and just feeling lost in society. It was a very amazing.
Well, the weird thing is like in storytelling and in life, like the villains aren't people that just said, I want to be evil and ruin someone's lives. Mm-hmm. They're usually overly committed to something that they think is the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. So, you could have a guy who is divorced from his wife and he just wants his family back. And he takes that so far that he's stalking his wife and scaring his kids. Like the idea of like putting my family back together is great, but he's too committed to something that's not working.
Do you remember, it was a movie years ago. And I remember we were young when it came out. And I remember it not making much sense to me. But now as a parent and an older person, I'm like, I don't think I would do that. Do you remember? I think it was Denzel Washington was in it. And it was a movie where his child needed medical care.
It was called John Q. His child needed like a heart a kidney. No, it was a heart. He needed a heart transplant. I actually just watched this.
You did?
Or a piece of it. As I was walking through the room and it was on, I watched maybe like 20 minutes of it, 15 minutes of it. Eddie Griffin was in it. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of people in it. James Woods was in it. He was the surgeon. So Anne Heche, who passed away, was in it. Yeah, I remember this movie. It was, his son needed a heart transplant. And
his insurance
wouldn't pay it.
And the whole... Yes.
Yeah, so he's this bad guy that kidnapped all these people because he was committed to saving his son. And of course, because it was a movie, he ended up being okay and, the whole deal. But it was weird. I actually liked that movie solely because of Denzel Washington's performance.
But it's there's moments. I mean, I've been through a bit of a ringer in terms of my health lately. And, when you see if it's your child and you see your child in pain, like what lens will you go to? And, there's nothing.
Really important news here. Kari wants to know where she can find Brother Husbands, like what channel.
Back to Brother Husbands. What channel is that on? So Brother Husband, it says, who are Gerald's biggest influences?
My mom and my dad. My dad passed away a few years ago, but definitely my dad and my mom is probably the strongest person that I've ever met and one of the kindest. And so it was great Sunday to have her and at the theater with all of our friends and family members there to see the movie. So probably those two are my biggest in life. And then in art, there's just too many. There's so many. For different reasons, there's directors that I like for this reason or that reason. There's actors that I love for a million reasons. But we mentioned Denzel. I don't know an actor who isn't influenced by his body of work, or Meryl Streep, or there's I love Giancarlo Esposito, who's really in his heyday right now, doing really well. He's been in everything. He was in. He first came out and Do the Right Thing, but he's on the show Parish now. He's a show called Parish on I think A&E. He's just been in a ton of stuff. He was in Breaking Bad. He's been a character actor for years, and now he's finally getting his front and center. So
between your mom and dad, which one of you do you think gave you like the acting bug?
Neither.
Come on, boy. It had to come from something. Come on. Maybe at church, they're like a storyteller. Like my dad was a storyteller at church.
I don't know what mental deficiency led me to want to be a performer. I can't blame that on my parents.
But you've been like that since we were in high school. Like,
I know.
It's part of your DNA.
You know
it has
what it
to
is?
come from your mom or dad.
When I was 5 or 6 years old, I fell down and hit my head one time. And I think that was the reason why.
That's how Jesus touched you.
Yeah, like literally right on the top of my head, I hit it, and I think that was the reason.
And that was it.
Yeah. I can't blame that on either one of them. Like neither one of them is performer on any level.
They are though.
But they're not.
They are. I have to believe that. Because it's funny. I mean, everyone has seen Diana with her stories. But my dad's whole side of the family were performers. Not my mom's. My mom is tone deaf. Oh man, she tried to sing and we were like, stop it.
You should get her singing lessons for Mother's Day.
Nobody wants that.
My boss just did like a whole web series you can watch about someone who doesn't know how to sing with a professional singing coach learning how to sing. And this singing coach believes she can teach anybody to sing.
Really?
You guys should get with her and do like a weekly thing.
That would be hilarious. She cannot teach me. I don't have a good voice.
Yeah.
Did you go to school together? We did not, but all of so where I grew up, the public school was did you go to Edgewood?
I did. I went to Edgewood. I went to private high school for 2 years. I was all fancy. And then I went back to Edgewood my last 2 years.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like that's when we met, was probably in the senior
around
year.
that time.
Because I was dating Mike in sophomore year and I knew Eamon and Tony. Yeah. And then I think I probably met you the following year. So where I grew up, I went to the Catholic school, which was 45 minutes away. But all my friends were from the neighborhood. Or 4 neighborhoods over, and they rode a bike over. So there was a bunch of us. Tony and Eamon. Eamon, we said, is in Florida. Tony,
I think he's in Florida.
Down south somewhere.
No, I thought he was in Michigan for a while, but then I think he went further west.
Did he?
Yeah.
I need to find him.
Like he's out, like we talked about Deadwood earlier. He's like out in one of those.
He's there?
Kind of not there, but that kind of an area. I could maybe look it up. But.
Yeah. And then Mike lives out near you.
Yes, he told me to tell you hi.
I have to catch up with him. Yes, when I get out there
he's in
again.
LA, so he told me to tell you hello.
That's so crazy. But we were all like babies.
Yes,
we were all babies hanging out. And then it was funny because yesterday, Michelle and Gerald, we were all together 2 days ago at the movies. And Michelle was like, Gerald, when did I first meet you? I was like, you guys met probably in the tarmac at Miss America, where like all my friends were there.
We might have met right before that, but it was in that period of time.
Well, did you go to the farewell party?
I don't think so, but I think it was in the run up before.
Before that, maybe.
Yeah, like before the like.
So listen, Gerald wasn't stupid. Okay, I was in pageants and surrounded by beautiful women, and then all of a sudden, all my friends were like, "Oh, Dina, what are you doing with all these hot little girls?" I was like, "Oh." Gerald wasn't stupid.
Either I'm oblivious or I'm really bad because I don't think I dated any of them.
He didn't. He didn't. I don't think he was oblivious, but
I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny. It's so funny. So yeah. So now it's years later, and but I saw Mike in Vegas probably 10 years ago. I think we both saw like on social that we were both in town.
Yeah.
I forget why he was there, but we were able to catch up.
Isn't it funny how I get mad when I see somebody somewhere I'm at, even though I didn't tell them I was there? Like I'll be in Vegas and I'll be like, "You were in Vegas? Well, I was in Vegas. Why didn't you let me know you were in Vegas?" And I'm like mad at them because we missed each other because neither one of us thought that the person that we've never seen in Vegas would be in or wherever we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It drives me. It's just funny. I actually get upset. I can't believe and then sometimes you weren't even there at the same time. You missed each other by a couple of days. You're like, well, if you would have told me.
Yeah, I would have stayed. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. Like I get out of Vegas as quick as I can. No extra time.
It was. It's always so nice to see where kind of everybody landed and what everybody's up to. So yeah.
That's funny.
He was focused on success.
Judy. I'm so sorry.
What? When I was in grade 3, my teacher told me to mouth the words to the song our choral group was singing. Need I say more? Oh, tone deaf. Oh, she didn't want you to sing.
No, I think you're teacher saw your ability to act, and she just wanted to,
That's what it was, Judy.
foster your ability to act.
It's amazing. That was nice that he said that. No, it's so funny too, because I can play music like a crazy person, and I will sing the correct tone. It just won't sound right. Can you sing?
No. You don't
But you have a good radio voice.
I can talk. That I'll take, but you don't want to hear me sing.
No.
Yeah.
It's not our gift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not my gift. I think if you work it, you could make it okay, passable, like any of us. But it's just, I used to sing when I was a kid, and then I stopped doing it, and then it's my singing ability said, "Oh, okay, if you're gonna neglect us, we're leaving.
We're out."
So,
do you go to your high school reunions? Well, we have separate reunions. Sherry makes me go sometimes.
But they don't really have reunions like they used to be.
It's
Like you had a
Edgewood.
5-year and a 10-year. Now everybody knows what everybody's doing on Facebook, so there's no like reason to necessarily go. But what Edgewood does is, like, so first off, it used to be the president of the class or whoever the officers would do these. They all of you guys,
They all
neglected.
bailed.
Yeah, you guys stink.
Oh, you were president then, but you can't do your job.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Dean, come say hi to everybody.
how are you today?
I'm good. How are
Good
you?
to see you.
Look at Dean, looking like he's at his first day of school with his backpack.
I can't wait for second grade. It's gonna be so fun.
All right. Do you have any other words you'd like to share about Unsung Heroes now that Gerald's here?
Oh, it was really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday, and I remember what you were saying. Like, a lot of people are skeptical about like faith-based movies.
Yeah.
And me and my sister, when we went into it, we were like, "This is gonna be stupid. This is gonna be so dumb." And then halfway through the movie, we're like, "This is dumb. Oh my god, this is amazing." So, but no, it was actually really, really good. I would recommend 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. There you go.
Recommend it.
We do have a 100% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I did see that. Yeah, I was like, wow, that's really good.
I'm shocked. I'm like, this is amazing. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would totally recommend. It's a very good movie. But yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Are you working tonight, or I see you later?
I'll see you later.
Okay. Bye. I love you.
Bye.
See you later.
You guys, what's in his backpack? Where is he? He's going to a job. Like, what's in there?
I don't know.
Did you see it had so much? Did he pack his lunch?
It's his lunch and like a magazine to read.
One day Dean's going to
On his
grow up
break.
and be a big boy, and it's going to be so exciting. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we were
your
talking about
reunion,
reunions.
go.
Yeah. So they don't really do their job. So what's happened with Edgewood is one of the guys that went to Edgewood, who's actually a DJ, every couple of years he throws a multi-year reunion where they just rent out a hall and you can buy tickets. And it's like the first time it was like between classes that graduated from 85 to 95. So it was like all 10 classes. And then the last one, he rented out like 3 rooms at the catering hall. And it was like from 1901 to like, if you graduated in 2020, it was everybody there.
Wow.
So, is kind of cool because think about it.
Yeah,
Even
chances are you hang out with people above and below.
Yeah.
your grade.
So it's like more than
yeah.
your class. So that was kind of cool to see, a multi-year. But it's just reunions don't have the same. Like I think we're getting cheated out of the idea of not knowing anything about most of the people we went to high school with, and then one day just all of us being in a room going.
Yeah, but don't you think, like, did you ever hear those stories where, like, somebody, like, dated in high school and then they separate for 30 years and then they go back? Like, you got to go to the reunion because there's some of those things that people are supposed to, like, oh, I saw him again.
Yeah.
And it was like, we
but
had
now
a
they
second
don't have that,
chance.
though, because now they go, oh, let me look them up on Facebook. Oh, look, that's what,
know.
So now you lose that element of, like, wonder and surprise.
Has anybody here ever gone back to their reunion and like found love? I want to hear those stories. Hi Angie, good morning. Yeah, Lacey, I have a feeling if he's like his grandmom, it's just filled with snacks is what I've come to. I don't even think there's a computer in there. I think it was over there, but whatever. No. I went to an all-girls high school. I know. Was there had to be like an all boys high school, right? For every all girls. Like, do you guys ever have reunions and like do them together?
Yeah, like when they used to have the dance and all the girls be on one
Yeah,
side
yeah,
and the
yeah.
guys lined up on the other side and they stand 5 feet from each other and just step side to side. That was how they danced.
Yeah. Remember, and you had to have the Holy Spirit between you, and you would just dance like this. Mm-hmm. People are surprised that my husband and I got married. We never dated in high school. We were in the same grade, so it surprises everyone. I've never gone to a reunion. All set with those people. Isn't
I'm sorry
it
your
funny?
experience was that bad.
Have you I was talking the other day about how that there are people when you're high school and they were horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible people in your high school. And then you meet them now and they seem lovely.
Well, they were misguided kids.
Exactly.
They were
But we
misguided
want to
kids.
hold on to that for the rest of our lives and hold them accountable for how they acted when they were 15.
And sometimes what it was people were scared, so their way of dealing with scare was to be mean or whatever. There's a million.
Gerald,
like
he doing the whole Christian thing, always trying to look for something nice. I'm stuck in Winslow.
That's the storyteller
like,
in me is like I'm always looking, and the actor in me is like, what's on the surface, what's happening isn't really what's happening. You have to look for what's.
Got to go deep.
And then as a producer, I'm always trying to listen for what's the concern behind what's being said.
Not me.
Because the concern
taking you for face
will
value.
help
Don't
me
like
find
you.
solution.
Get away from me. I don't know how you're saying this, and you're from the same area of New Jersey as I am. You've clearly gone deep, and you've found a special place. I don't have that special place.
Yeah, because I would be in an argument and a fight every day, all day in Hollywood if I didn't.
Oh, so I probably won't make it.
Yeah,
a Jim's reunion in a year, a man came up to a lady we were talking to. He said, I have to tell you all, I've always had a crush on you. She was like, thank you, but I'm married. He tried.
Hey, in his world, he shot his shot.
Listen, he was waiting 50 years for that.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, he shot his shot. So good for him.
We just had a reunion. We had 80 people. It was great. I heard that the last year, 2 people who didn't date in high school did connect and got married a couple years later. Oh. Yeah, see, somebody said, hold on. You go to the reunion to find out all the dirt that you don't find on social media after a few years.
I think people tell on themselves on social media if you read close enough.
Well, there was that whole thing. Remember? I mean, it still happens, but I remember like when social media first started, like if a wife or husband went on social media, even to this day, and then posts a picture and says, you're the love of my life. I love you. I couldn't live with it. They're going to be divorced in a month. Divorced in a month.
I can tell with some of my friends in LA by the number of selfies that they post that they're not doing well in there. When the number goes up, they're not doing well with whoever they're dating.
Oh, yeah.
They're lightly starting to advertise.
Now, let me tell you something.
They're like, hey, look at me.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this now, okay? I'm on the social media, okay? And there is a fella that I dated years ago. I don't know if you might know. And we're friends on the Facebook. And I noticed that there was
a little too many likes on the photos there?
No, there was a picture of him on a mountain. That's pretty nondescript. It was a snowy mountain, and he looks like he was snowing. Does that ring any bells for you? Nothing?
Nope.
Let me tell you the next one. So so it gets my spidey senses up, and I go, So I scroll up, and there's a picture of a steak. Do you know where I'm going? Whatever, Mary. Okay. Then I scroll up. Now there's a picture of him and his daughter. I know exactly what's happening. Who knows exactly what's happening when you say, look.
Okay, so let me think. He's
getting a guy on a mountain snowing in Colorado.
He's showing that he's going on an adventure.
2, a steak. Like a close-up of like a really good steak or a real like man dinner.
Okay.
Number 3, a picture with him and his daughter saying how much he loves her.
I'm a good father.
What's happening?
Midlife crisis.
Which equals?
Divorce.
Boom!
Okay.
Colleen!
See, people tell on themselves on social media.
I'm telling you, if you see these 3 pictures, divorce.
But listen,
and he'd been married
it's
forever.
even easier. If you start seeing a lot of selfie pictures, it's the beginning of the advertising. Things aren't going well.
You're right.
And sometimes it's just like, let me make you jealous enough that you'll focus your more attention on me and we're good.
Mhm.
Other times it's like, I'm got one foot out the door, and as soon as the right thing comes in, I'm out.
Mhm.
I see it in LA all the time.
I'm telling you.
All the time.
What do you think? So is there something specific in divorce pictures that you like on the, because I said if this is the trifecta of men getting divorced. Picture on a mountain, picture of food, picture with their kids saying how much they love them.
Well, I will say it could be a picture on a mountain, or it could be the workout picture, like I'm back at the gym. Yeah. That's one of them too. There's a lot of little.
It says, "Oh my gosh, Gerald, you're right. My neighbor's going through that. A lot of selfies."
Oh, see?
No, Carrie, we're not reaching out to this guy. No. Well, then, so I'm like, this looks like straight trifecta of divorce. And then and then you scroll down some more, and he was like, "Happy birthday to blah 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 blah," and it would not hit wife. So either he's really not good at keeping that a secret, or we're just moving in that direction.
Yeah, we're not talking about a single selfie. It's okay to take some selfies, but not when it's
not
lot.
24, and definitely not on a mountain.
And I start seeing certain poses for the women, especially where it's like, I'm going to be free soon pose.
Wait, who's that? Girls do this?
Yeah, the girls they'll have their hands up, or they'll they'll have one of their girlfriends film them, and they'll walk by the camera, and they'll have one that's the I'm going to be free soon video.
I gotta look and see if I did that in any of my photos.
Oh yeah, we should scroll through and see.
Yeah, no. Well, I said to Dean, this is the trifecta.
It's like over the shoulder, like you're looking out to the future.
Like
yeah, we just see this, and it doesn't even have to be your face. It can literally just be over your shoulder, like I'm looking out at my bright future. It's they're advertising. Now I have to go back through and check all my stuff and make sure I'm.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of vibe you're putting out. Give me your Insta. Let me look at it. I'll tell you if you're giving out a vibe.
Oh no, I do a lot of work on my Insta, but you can hold on. Let's go there. There you go.
Is it filled with honeys?
No, I just talk about my projects.
Say this is a girl catcher right here.
Yo, that's my little guy.
Yeah. Listen, just so you know, I'm sure you're on the dating apps, but on the dating apps. Now, one of my girlfriends had a rule on the dating apps. And the rule was if you had a gym picture, you're out. Not dateable.
I've heard that.
If you have a fish picture.
Yeah, it's probably not the best.
Out. Now, I like fishing. I would like to go fishing. But I don't need to see a picture of your big fish in the middle of this dating app. You look like you share
what?
A lot of like funny pictures, funny videos.
I do. I like little funny videos. I have a guilty pleasure. The funniest thing on the planet is when someone falls down. It only gets funnier if they get dirty in the process, or if they said, "Look at me" first, and they kind of deserve falling down because they were trying to show off. I kind of love those videos. I have a group, like a private group of people, about 10 people that we send them back and forth all the videos. The guy that says, "Look at me," and revs his motorcycle and flies off a mountain. So that's my guilty pleasure is, at least if I'm feeling really bad, like if I'm not having a good day, I can go to my Instagram, I can go to my messages, and I know that one of my friends has sent me something that's going to make me laugh and smile. And sadly, it's usually because someone else hopefully didn't get hurt, but fell down or got, and like I said, if somebody falls down, it's hilarious. But if they fall down in the mud, it's hilarious.
Do you watch pandas falling?
That's kind of funny sometimes. I saw a koala fall there about a week ago.
The time. In the hole? Twice?
No, it just fell down like a little tree and was bouncing off like a pinball down the branches.
Yeah. No, this one, the panda this koala bear had fallen in a hole, couldn't get out. So they get this big tree trunk that had fallen, put it in there so he can climb out.
Yeah.
Okay. He takes forever, right? He climbs. So the tree's like this. He climbs. He keeps climbing, goes up this tree.
So he's out of the hole.
He's out of the hole. Okay. He's up the tree. Dum falls right back into the hole. And the hole, everybody was like, "Oh my God, he made it. We saved him." And then he fell double the amount of the height back into the hole. And people are like, "I think he's drunk."
There's one of a goat that fell in a crevasse in the middle of between two rocks.
Crevice?
Sorry. Between two rocks. and the guy like pulls it by the horns and he gets it out,
Right.
and it runs and falls like
No.
10 feet down
I
into the
can't.
same crevice.
What? And you're like,
And
trying
I'm
to
like,
help
it's just
you.
like hilarious. I'm like, wow. But it's such a, when I see it, I'm like, I should send that to people that I know, because I know people who will run into the crevice no matter how much help you give them.
Look, she said that's like the goat one. She must. I don't
Yes,
know
the goat one. I love it, Marianne. You've seen it.
I don't know the goat one.
It's so. It's probably in my Instagram, like way down
Well,
from a while ago.
Mm-hmm. The panda's falling over is hysterical. Seems like he would like them. I'm going to pull up some panda videos before you leave. Mm-hmm. Drunk ladies at the beach on floaties are my favorite. Did you see the one?
No, them trying to get on the floaties and falling off.
Do you know the one where they're trying to get on the paddleboard? It's two ladies trying to get on the paddleboard. You know those things that are like in Philly and you go on a date, the duck thing or whatever. Well, it's these two ladies trying to get on, and they're kind of bigger women,
I missed
and
this.
and so what happens is they get in, and as soon as one gets in, the
Tilts,
thing goes
the
so
water,
low, it just keeps taking on water, and it is the funniest thing in the whole world.
Have you seen the one where the four ladies get on like the floating dock? It's like a dock, and you can go onto the boat. And they get on the dock and they start like showing off dancing, and then the dock floats away. But because it's floating, it tilts and they all fall in the water.
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna have fun after this. Yeah.
The problem is I could watch those things all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's my guilty pleasure.
Here it is, the one where they're on the dock. I think you
Yes,
and Mary
it's
are
hilarious.
watching the same stuff. Paddle boat, not board. Thank you.
There used to be a show on one of the like TBS or one of those like smaller networks that was called It Only Hurts When I Laugh. And it was literally a show of clips of people falling down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is years ago. And I fell in love with me and my old roommate used to just watch every episode 50 times.
And then here's Shakendra. Meanwhile, I love videos of carpets being cleaned. You're not wrong. I love those just as much. What is it about cleaning things?
It's the obsessive compulsive side of us.
Is that
Because when they do the vacuuming right and they get those lines, I don't know how they do it. They get the lines all perfect and they're like kind of curved at the end. I don't know how to do that. I'm all like left and right. Like,
did you know when I started dating Mike, we went to his house once, you know, back where he used to live? Mm-mm. You don't remember?
Oh yeah. When like, Waterford. Yeah.
And it had like a foyer. And then the bathroom was here, but you had to walk through his living room. So his parents weren't home, so we weren't supposed to be in the house. But I was like, I just need to use the bathroom real quick. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And I walked into the living room, and because he had turned, and I walked, and he was like, stop! I go, what? He goes, you have to come back. You can't go that way. You have to go. And I go, but I'm almost there. He's like, you have to come back, and you have to make it like you were not in that room, because didn't you notice all the vacuum marks on the floor?
Well, it was like the furniture. They used to have the plastic on the furniture.
Yeah.
So
you weren't allowed
they had
to
the good furniture in like the living, not the living
Mm-hmm.
room, like I don't know what they called it. I can't remember what we called it. The fancy room.
The front fancy
So we had
room,
my mom had like velvet furniture, and one of them was white. It was a white couch and like a yellow couch, but then they had plastic on it. So you weren't supposed to sit on the white couch and the yellow couch, but then they put plastic on it to protect it, but you weren't allowed to sit on the plastic either.
No, you weren't allowed to walk in there. Nothing.
Yeah, it's like the good towels in the bathroom.
Yeah,
you can't touch the good
Don't
towels.
use
They're
those.
there. And even if there's not another towel there, you just have to over the sink until your hands are dry.
Oh, it's so fun. All the things. I know, Bougie. We all should go to work. Well, listen, if you get a chance, gather some friends, get your church girlfriends,
Please.
get your kids who are looking for a good movie, get a little touch from the Lord, a little bit of inspiration. If you're looking for a good mom movie, all of the things, check out Unsung Hero. It is the story of this amazing family from Australia, and who eventually turn into For King and Country and Rebecca St. James.
There they are.
So wow, that's them. Oh my goodness, they're so beautiful. And it's an amazing story, and you follow the story of these three as well as the entire family and how they kind of made it in America. And it's just real inspirational and very touching. So so you'll have to let us know how it goes, and any fun next projects coming up that we need to hear about, or you'll tell us later.
We'll be doing some Christmas movies. We have A Christmas Less Traveled that stars Candace Cameron Bure that is in post-production now. That'll be out on Great American Family Network this Christmas, probably around Thanksgiving. I don't have an exact release date for that right yet. And then we have the Ainsley McGregor Mysteries, which is Great American Family's first mystery series that also stars Candace. So people remember her from the Aurora Teagarden movie. She was Aurora Teagarden in like 30 movies. And now we have this Ainsley McGregor, a whole new series on a new network. So that'll be coming out later this fall as well.
Okay.
And we'll be doing, I mean, we do a lot of Christmas movies. So there'll be more Christmas movies. And many of our Christmas movies have a little bit of faith in them. Not all of them, but some of them have faith. And then there's a Jen Lilly movie we may do this year. So we'll see. There's a bunch of things coming up. But the Ainsley McGregor Mysteries, it's a film called A Case for the Winemaker, will be coming up later this year. And then
is there a case for the bourbon maker?
No.
That's weird.
No.
And he's being very humble about it, but Gerald will also be starring on Seeking Brother Husband this season. He doesn't want to talk about it, but we're super excited.
Yeah. Someone pitched the show to us. It was funny about trad wives. Do you know what trad wives are?
Trad?
Yeah, it's short for traditional, and it's like this super like traditional
like doing your
Amish
laundry
level.
on the board.
Yeah, well, but like whatever, you can use a machine, but like super traditional, like your job. I'm not advocating for this.
Butter.
You do what you want to do, but your job is to tend to anything that your husband needs. So like it's like, and someone pitched the show to us, and the thing about it was, I was like, what? This show's gonna get made. I don't know who's gonna make it. It's not gonna be us.
What kind of
but someone's gonna make that show. Is that me?
That's you. Yeah.
Someone's gonna make that show, and it could potentially do really well because it's just this different way of looking at life that people are going to look at and have a very strong opinion of one way or another. Yeah,
so like 1950s, like
even before that, and I kind of was like, this isn't for us. But thank you.
Like I think I'm pretty traditional in a lot of ways, but not in the like. Well,
I think it was like traditional, like you don't have any job but the house.
I could do that.
The house.
Maybe I could. No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Are there kids around?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had something to do.
No stand up, no morning show. Like that was what it seemed like. I don't really know a lot about that lifestyle, but that's what it seemed like. And they were all willing to choice, but they pitched it to us, and we were like, and there's a really famous person, a fairly famous person attached to kind of produce this project. And we were like, oh, that was why we took the pitch. But it was like, hey, I think it'll be great if you can find the right people that want to make it. It's not us.
Well, did you see that guy? There was a preacher that just came out not too long ago, and he made that statement, and he was like, ladies, and there's a lot of pushback, even from his own church. Mm-hmm. And he was like, ladies, if you, on your wedding night, did you hear that?
No.
He said, ladies, on your wedding night.
Can I interrupt for a second?
I don't think you're going to want to because it's true.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't tell ladies what to do because generally when we as guys tell them what to do in a public forum, it doesn't go well.
It goes poorly.
It does not go well.
So he stood at the pulpit and he said, ladies, on your wedding night, do what your husband wants to do. Wear what your husband wants to wear. And say what your husband wants you to say. And he will be the happiest man on the planet. And then a whole bunch of heads started exploding in their own congregation. Like for the people on the outside of the congregation, like, what did he say? Yeah. But even the people on the inside were like, what are you talking about? Like, where's the part where we're like, we are there for each other? Where's that conversation? And he got a lot of backlash for it. Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of people asking questions about, I don't know about the trad wife lifestyle. It's this whole thing. It was just pitched to us and it wasn't for us. So I'm not an expert on it. I don't really have an opinion on it.
Trying to get out of this conversation.
I just don't have an opinion on it. I think it's for you to choose what you want to do. And if it's for you, great for you. And for a lot of people that I know, it's probably not for them. And I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No.
Dina was like, well, I couldn't. I was like, I don't think so. But you can choose what you
Well, I
want.
just think it's crazy. All right, so there's this one girl just on Seeking Sister Wife. And like, for some reason, he's the dumbest man on the planet. And she'll be like, well, whatever Garrett thinks is, and the Lord speaks to him, but only when it's beneficial to Garrick. He'll be like, I was in the garage and the wind blew. And I knew that was the Holy Spirit saying that I should marry a Brazilian woman. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you something. If I was ever standing in a garage with a man and the wind blew, and next thing you know, he says, the Holy Spirit said I should marry a hot Brazilian. I'd be like, I think you got hit with something in the head. I think something happened to you when this wind blew. Like in that movie where the wind was killing everybody, like that.
I would think that he was about to get hit in the head with something.
I'm
that was
telling
coming
you.
from your hand.
Gerald, you have no idea what kind of crazy stuff he says. He'll just be like, I was in the bathroom and the wind came through and told me that I should have sex with like 6 women. And you're like, I don't think that's how wind works.
Yeah.
It is the craziest conversation when he talks. You don't even know, Gerald.
I don't. And I don't want to.
Straight crazy.
I don't.
Straight crazy.
Yeah, it's a minefield that I don't want to dance in.
I mean, you ever listen, you don't know other people's relationships, but every once in a while, if you eavesdrop, which I love to do, and you hear what other people say, and you're like, just crazy. And I can't control my face.
Well, you know what's, sometimes you'll be in public and you're not trying to eavesdrop, and something will happen or somebody will say something that everything in your body goes, what? But now you're like, you're fighting yourself.
You can't. I don't fight
like,
it. I go with it, and I go,
yeah,
what?
Like
that.
Well, because people get so combative now. They'll do the craziest thing in public, and if you look at them, it's like they want to have a fight with you. And I'm like, I can't do it.
Nope, nothing here.
I can't do
Just keep walking.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The lady at the hospital next to me. Oh, you gotta be somewhere?
No, I just have all these alarms to make sure that I make meetings and phone calls and things. Sorry.
There was a lady at the hospital, and they gave her a pregnancy test, and turns out she's pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And she just found out, and no bueno. She did not want that. But I was behind a curtain, so she didn't see my face, but I was listening.
Yeah,
and
but they're telling that on the other side of a curtain, like the curtain, like there's a
like there's privacy, but there wasn't, and it was all in Spanish, so I had to translate it real fast with Duolingo level 4, section 57, and it's not enough. It wasn't enough. I've been told I don't hide my expressions very well. Lord knows I tried. I know.
That's funny. It's hard. Because people do more and more outrageous things in public.
Yeah.
So then they do something outrageous and you're like, you couldn't even imagine it.
No.
And then you're like, what? And then when you act shocked, like you're the bad person for being in their business.
Well, I'm telling you, when I'm on an airplane, I have to put myself into like low mode. I'm like, don't respond to anything. Don't get in a fight with anybody. You'll get kicked off the plane in 2 seconds. Just keep your mouth shut. Look forward. We're going to get there, whatever. But I am genuinely surprised when we will get on a plane, and it's not always the passengers are the majority of the time, but sometimes those flight attendants are just straight mean. But you know what? Whatever. I'm going to look forward. This is not my time to rise up.
Noise canceling.
Yeah, I'm going to be on this plane for 3 hours, and I'm never going to see this person again.
Noise canceling headphones.
But I'm amazed at how many times people will get into fights.
Yeah, it's. So many people come on a plane and they treat the whole plane like they're in their living room. It's just crazy. I was on a flight. This is about a month or so ago.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the window. I have my elbow on the rest, and something hits my elbow, and I look, and someone's foot. No toe cheese in it and everything.
No.
Hit my elbow, and I just literally turned and went, could you move your foot? And I was like, and I said it with the cop voice that I work on for all the TV shows. I was like, could you move your foot, please?
I got to get that voice. Can you move your foot, please?
They didn't say a word, but the foot disappeared and it didn't touch my elbow the rest of the flight. I was like, oh my goodness.
So you can get
and then I took my little sanitizer thing and cleaned my elbow and my armrest off.
Yeah.
No,
I get grossed out if people take their shoes off on the plane and they'll just put their shoe and their and that's not even close to me. No.
I still want to know if this is Candace Havens, the writer.
Candace Havens, is it you? We don't know her as a writer. We know it's just fun Candace.
Because there's a Candace Havens that's a writer that has written films that I produced.
Doubt that Candace Havens is here. Have you heard what we discuss on this show? I doubt anybody that is writing.
Maybe she's doing research to write a whole story.
Maybe she's writing. Candace, are you writing the book of my life? I want you to write the book of my life. Mm-hmm. No, I can't do it. I am not. I'm aware of her, okay, but I am writing a book. Say, Candace. Is it about me?
Yes.
That would be lovely. All right, everybody. Well, thank you, Gerald, for joining us and giving the inside scoop. And like I said, Gerald told us at the end of the movie, when you watch it, it'll show all the pictures of the family, where they are currently. You'll see a kid on the soundboard standing next to him is the actual guy. You'll see there's a part where there's a baby given to someone. She is the baby. She's given the baby. The flight attendant. What else?
There's a video guy doing video. He still does their video.
The video. There's
a little scene where there is an older man who takes one of the kids' legs off of him. That's actually the real father. That's David Smallbone doing a cameo in his movie across from his son, playing him in the movie. So there's a bunch of little really cool kind of smart cameos built into it as well. That at the end you'll really enjoy. But I think people will really love the movie. So please go see it while it's in the theaters.
So go check it out. We'll have Gerald back again and the other fun people we can grab to talk shop and all of the fun things. But thanks for watching. As always, like Judy from Saskatoon says, do something nice for yourself or others today. And we'll be back for Tipsy Tuesday tonight, having some yummy bourbon. So have a great day and a blessed day. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed today's morning show, make sure to follow us for more One Funny Mother content.
Okay, all right. Morse code is tapping.
And check out OneFunnyMotherStore.com for great new inappropriate swag. And for more exclusive content, consider becoming a supporter.
She got a bad leg.
Thanks again, and we'll see you tomorrow on One Funny Morning.